Good morning, family. It's like 1:20 a.m. in the morning. I am doing this video um, because I wanted to wait until I knew for a fact that I had all of the information that I needed to go along with this. And here's the major thing. Uh, no one has ever asked me why I wear this mask. I wear this mask slash or the veil, the mask as well, because of the fact had the mask underneath it. The reason for this is the fact that Baba prophesied to me that the COVID-19 was going to come to pass. Now, he did not tell me that he would not live to be here to see it. And if you all can recall, when it was time for the election, for when Donald Trump was the president elect. Prior to that, he kept saying that he didn't believe that there was going to be a an election at all. Now, um, but it's difficult to decipher a vision from personal daydreams or thoughts. So I entreated the universe, which I somewhat regret having done, and asked for dreams because when you dream something, you know for a fact that you dreamt it. And my dreams come clearly and they don't need to be interpreted. So um, I dreamt about the efficacy of the coronavirus, and I told Greg about it. And I used to teach him just as much as he taught me. And he didn't think that the dream that I told him coincided with what he was telling me. But I was right on that particular occasion, and he was a little bit erroneous in his. Okay, now here's the thing. He told me to wear the mask then. That now, not this now. So also, I had had the dream, so it wasn't difficult for me to believe what he was saying or to commingle it with the dream that I had had, which was more along the lines of being quarantined. By say it isn't, but we'll still that still remains to be seen. Okay, someone once told me that I was a little bit wordy, so to make this video as condensed Jay Z and the conversation he and Greg had involving hair, and I'm going to try and get that in here and make it make sense all at the same time. Okay, now I wrote these things down so that I wouldn't. Fashion was, important to women, so that it would be a good idea. I came up with the idea of the veil. He came up with the solution of the mask. And he assured me that no one would ask me about the mask. And they didn't. I mean, I was wearing this mask, as you guys know, when no one else was. And no one even asked me why I was wearing it. And very few of the little people thought that I was ill. And if they did, they didn't say anything to me about it. Okay. So this is the reason why. Now, Greg told me, he said, the reason why I want you to start wearing the mask now, again, that now and not this now, he said, is because if you don't, they won't believe you when you tell them that I gave you this prophecy and that you had the dream. He said, but if you start wearing the mask, which was back like in 2013, when he told me this, they'll believe you when you let them know that you knew about the coronavirus at that time. Also, he told me how to prevent it, which we're going to go into as well. Now, one of the things that, and I want to get to the important things to prevent it, is vitamin D. Baba Greg often talked about vitamin D, which we get our natural form of vitamin D from the sun. Now, make sure you stock up on vitamin D. Now, there are going to be very few people who look at this video. I think I've topped off in terms of videos at about a little over 5,000, and maybe as little as 20 something, which is great because that means that my natural or regular people who do watch me will be the ones who will get this message. There's a lot more things that need to be said that I can't say on this video, but if you reach out to me, then I will confirm that you are who you say you are because you meet certain qualifications of being ones who can know this information. And then I'll divulge it to you at that particular time. But I'm still going to say some things as of right now. Okay. The first thing is demagnetizing food to make you can correct it. Okay. Now, if you get some food that's contaminated, water, whatever it may be, because once you get water, like say from a brook, it's live water. It can't be any more um, alkaline than getting it could possibly be. But by the time it's bottled, by the time it's shipped, by the time it gets to you, by the time it's put in a can of glass, it's more expensive, but there is no BP, uh, you know, BP from, because I'm already 7 minutes in. Now, as I have explained once before, the nations, the governments cannot lie to us. I've said that before. They can't lie. They can deceive, but they cannot lie. Now, one of the things that they said that was, and if they do, they have to correct it quick. Okay. What did they call this disease when it first hit to our knowledge? They called it the coronavirus. Now, my being fluent in Spanish, I'm like, that's odd to call it coronavirus because corona means crown, like royalty. Why are they calling it that? I'm trying to figure this thing out, right? And while I was still trying to figure it out, I'm yet trying to figure this thing out how or why would they call it corona? That's when they flipped it up and called it COVID-19. In other words, coronavirus disease 19. And I said, oh, okay. The reason why they changed it is because, again, they can't lie. And coronavirus disease 19 means that the disease hit in 2019. Although we didn't find out about it as a whole, the way that they're publicizing it now was in 2020. Okay. They knew about this. If you go online now and look at some of the websites where they say that they're giving aid or SBA. If you go like SBA.gov, you'll see where it says coronavirus, anything that affected you from January 31st on. Okay. But if you research even further, you find out that they knew about it, or at least they claim they knew about it. The earliest that we know that they knew about it was in November. Now, the reason why they didn't tell us in November is because, as we can see already, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the stock market has fallen dramatically. Okay, and because it's fallen drastically, and they found out prior to Thanksgiving, they couldn't take the hit of something like this during the holidays and people tightening up the purse strings. So that's the reason why they didn't say anything. Whereas Trump has said, well, if the Chinese had been forthcoming in the beginning, we would have been able to put a handle on this, far better and far before we were able to. But the thing of it is, in Trump's defense, if you will, with the wonder, that's the reason why the numbers don't seem to be calculating. It's like, how can these numbers be rising so rapidly, so quickly? What's going on? If these numbers were what they say that they are at this particular point, they wouldn't have enough beds. In, I mean, this is a pandemic, not an epidemic. A pandemic means it's around the world. That's major. Okay. Now, here's the thing. One thing that I learned from Dick Gregory is this. He said, the only thing you have to do is one thing in order to have a best selling book, the best movie, the best whatever. He said, the only thing you have to do is say it is. He said, they'll go buy millions and millions of books and throw them out in the ocean. All they have to do is say that it is, and then they go, and then everybody goes to buy this book or see this movie. Okay. So I say that to say this: anyone who believes that this situation is biblical or is some type of prophecy coming to pass, that's not the case. The only thing that they have to, it's kind of like hearing that life imitates art. Okay. And the litmus test is, does art imitate life or does life imitate art, or vice versa? Okay. Well, all they have to do is this: write a book, which is the Bible, and then simply do what the book said in the time in which they said that it would happen or come to pass. And everybody's thinking, oh, the revelation is coming to pass. No, it isn't. They're simply doing what they wrote about X amount of hundreds of years ago. That's it. That's all they're doing. That's why these things are being prophesied from the New Testament and not the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is from the coffin text. Okay, don't want to get too far off. Let's come back. Okay, so we talked about how they can't lie and why they had to change the name from coronavirus to COVID-19, because they couldn't lie about its inception, which was 2019. That's the reason for that. Okay. Um, now, uh, okay, he told me about the mask and that if I started wearing it then, and then this happens now, that people would believe me in that he told me that this virus was coming or this disease was coming, but he didn't tell me what it was called because he didn't know and it wasn't really important. And also, he explained to me that wearing the veil would sort of camouflage it, and again, not I wouldn't have a problem with getting people to believe what I am saying. And that's why I've been wearing the veil slash the mask the entire time and the dreams and whatnot. Okay. Now, another thing is I have to say before I get into Idris Elba is to demagnetize food and how to make it better. Before there were cups, before there were spoons, before there were plates, we had hands. Okay. So you went to a brook, a lake, a body of water, and you used your hands and you drank. Okay. That wasn't just for the sake of doing it, it was because of what this is. These lines, nothing is for naught. Everything that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, gives us has a purpose. These are called lifelines because they give that end, it demagnetizes or takes anything unnatural or anything that could possibly be deadly in it away. Okay. Not to mention, if it smells badly, you know that something might be wrong with it, but that will take away whatever negative entity may or may not be in it. And the next thing is this: we used to cook with and eat with our hands. In Africa, there were no forks, and even now, in college, I had a roommate from Nigeria. She would always use her hands for to eat her rice or to eat her this or her that. They use their fingers not because it's the thing. They do it even if they don't realize it now, many years later, that they've been colonized by Europe. Because when you do that, it cleans, demagnetizes, and takes away any negative things from the food that you're eating. Okay, so we're about to go into a state where we can't even trust the food that we're about to eat. Okay, and when the food shortage comes, and it will, I'm going to give you what and how to do when you guys contact me via email. And so I don't forget, let me give it to you now. It's Dr. Leah That let me give you something that you could probably remember. It's Leah Japs, Leah, just Leah, Leah, Japs, Japs, at hotmail.com. So Leah Japs at hotmail.com. So when you email me and I can confirm that you have a copious amount of melanin, I'll give you what it is that you all need to do, because we have given away enough of ourselves in terms of the reason why we're in the shape that we're in. We've done that enough. Okay, we're not going to continue to do that. Barbara Gregory also taught me that when you learn something in terms of life sustenance, you can't keep it to yourself. You can't covet the information, because if you do, it won't work for you. Okay, so you can't do that. All right, you have to share that information with your people. And there's so many things that I know that I want to share with you. But again, we're already at 17 minutes. Okay, so we got that down. In terms of you all knowing that I knew about this before it actually came to fruition. Now, I don't watch TV. I don't know rappers and stuff like that. I have to go to my nieces and nephew and stuff to find that out. But there's a gentleman by the name of I hope I don't want to butcher the gentleman's name. Waka Flocka Flame. He was on a show and he said that Black people are immune from COVID-19 or coronavirus, however he was, whatever term he used to identify it. Now, here's the thing about that, his having said that. I'm not going to say that we are, and I'm not going to say that we are not. However, when he made that statement, less than 24 hours later, 6 NBA players came out and said that they had it. And Idris Elba came out and said he had it. Once that boy said that we couldn't catch it, I have no reason to believe that less than 24 hours later that they would have or set up these gentlemen to come out and say this thing. Now, do I think they were lying? I don't know them. But I personally do not know Idris Elba, but I happen to enjoy his work. Now, here's the thing. He said that he had no symptoms, but he went to go and get himself checked. Why are you going to get yourself checked if you don't have any symptoms? That's one. Two, if you know Black men, you know Black men do not just go to the doctor haphazardly, let alone if something is wrong. Not wrong. Black men just don't do that. They don't go to the doctor. And I know Black men also do not arbitrarily tell people that they have something. Oh, this is wrong with me. Usher paid a copious amount of money to an obese woman to say that he actually had his lawyers were geniuses to come out and say that he could have possibly given her herpes or something like that, so that to thwart the actual information, so that if you have all these pretty girls and a nice looking man who's a homosexual says that, oh, he gave us herpes, you say, maybe that could have happened. And then they have this, what they feel is unattractive in this particular society, overweight woman say the same thing. That leads one to start to question the entire dynamic, which leaves leeway to not believe the entire story. So for his lawyers to come up with that, that was ingenious. And later she came out and said that they did pay her to say that, and that she had never had any type of relation with Usher. So the point being is not to bash Usher, but to just restate the fact that people don't just say, particularly men, that they have something, that they have a disease. That's just not something men do. Black men don't do that. They don't even go to the doctor generally to get prostate checks and things like that. They just don't do that. So for him to come out and say that, again, I don't want to say that he's lying, but I don't want to negate the fact that maybe he was lied to. Okay. How do we know that they didn't tell him that? So, you know, is he lying or was he lied to? That's something to think about. Okay. So that's that. Uh, yeah, maybe they lied to him. Uh, and again, why is he there? And I can't help but believe that there's a lot of people who are saying that they have this uh, coronavirus or COVID-19 who really don't have it. Because why are these people at home? Why aren't they in the hospital? This doesn't make any sense to me. You're going to tell people who have it for a fact to quarantine themselves? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, maybe they know something I don't know. Okay, I'm a doctor of jurisprudence, not medicine, so let me state that. Okay. Um, Again, if you know me, if you've ever seen me out, I always, always, always have worn the mask since 2013. Um, Even if I'm in someone else's house. The only place that I haven't worn the veil slash the mask is when I've at my sister's house because she doesn't allow it. She doesn't allow me to wear my mask or my veil in her home. She makes me take it off. And she's the big sister, so I have to do as she says. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Another thing that is very important is that um, your hand. This is going to go into the Jay-Z thing. The hands. I explained the hands. The hair. Hair is, and I believe I stated this before. Oh my God! I think I'm hungry. My stomach is growling. If you hear it growling, please forgive me. Anyway, hair is acts like an antenna. Okay, and I think I've said that before. And not only does it act like an antenna in that it gives you a connection with the universe and information, but it also gives leeway for keeping one well. Okay, meaning that it prevents or adds to the microbids. Okay. Again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I remember Greg having told me this. So I called his son Johanse and I talked to Johanse and I talked to Christian, who's also a doctor or who is a doctor. And we talked about it just to make, because I wanted to make certain that I was certain before I came and spoke about what Greg and I had talked about, because it has been a while and I just wanted to make certain that I was accurate in this information. And most men, when they get a certain age, their hair will start to thin or dissipate altogether. And that's why it's good for them to grow their beards, because hair basically deflects, detracts, and prevents any type of sickness. Satisfy what they've lost up top. So that's what that's about. And coming Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Dick Gregory had a conversation that basically is in the exact same line of what we're speaking about right now. And that's why Jay-Z has grown his hair out, because Dick explained to him about the microbids and about how the hair promotes health. And that's the first people on the planet. Our hair grows up. And as you know, if you're old enough like myself, if you have an antenna back in the day in the 70s, 80s, the antenna went down, you pointed the antenna down, you didn't get any reception, or at least not good reception. But if the antenna is up, you get the primal reception. Okay. So that's why he is growing his hair up, because that's the way that our hair naturally grows, which is up, which gives us um, the connection to the universe and our way of being able to connect and be intuitive and know the things that are going to happen and the things that are in the best interest of our being here on the planet. So that's why JC is growing and has grown his hair. So everybody who was on that baby um, blue, I don't know what that was all about because that was prior to, uh, I believe, Jay having spoke to Greg. But that's the reason why he's growing his hair and continuing to do so. Um, Also, again, I apologize. I just don't want to miss anything for continuing to look down. By the way, I'm doing this at this hour. I know that there are a lot of people that are coming in right now, but I'm doing it at this hour, so there won't be a lot of questions, but I'll answer them later. And don't forget to hit me, guys. Email. I'll answer all the emails and any type of comments in the comment section. Okay. So remember the vitamin D. Okay. Then there is carrots, raw carrots, of course, and raw celery builds the immune system. And celery also cools the body down. That's a natural methodology for women to cool down, or anyone actually, but especially women after they reach a certain point in life. Okay, so you got your carrot, raw carrots, and also the raw celery. And if for whatever reason you can't masticate it, you can't chew it, you can always take it, the carrots and the celery together or separately or together and put them in like a blender or a ninja or something like that and just hit chop and eat it that way. But get it down. And then you cannot, trust me, you cannot drink enough water. Flush, flush, flush. You cannot drink enough water. Excuse me for the banging. You cannot drink enough water. You just can't. Trust me. Get the water, 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 water. Make sure it's spring water. Okay, spring water. It's good to get alkaline water. Some is better than none. Again, it's going to lose its potency once it gets to you, but again, some is better than none. Okay. Um, Alfalfa tablets. Okay. There should not be a day that goes by that you don't ingest alfalfa. Unfortunately, I've been to the farmer's market and they have alfalfa, but it's not organic. Okay. And because it's not organic, it's like not even having it. Now, how do you determine organic from um, generic or what have you? If the barcode number starts with a 9, it is absolutely organic. If it's not, if it starts with a 7 or any other number, it's not organic. Okay. Aside from a sign, even if there's a sign there, look at that barcode because again, they can what? They can lie to you. They cannot lie to you, but they can deceive you. So remember, organic has a barcode that starts with a 9. Any other number, which usually is a 7, it isn't. Okay. It's very difficult to find organic alfalfa. Quick history on how alfalfa came to be. Alfalfa, and when they became ill, they wanted to separate the ill horses from the horses that were well. In doing so, alfalfa is something that is indigenous to Saudi Arabia, and they had the horses that were infirm near alfalfa, and they noticed that the horses were nibbling on the alfalfa. And the Arabian horses not only got better, but they became even more robust and healthier than the ones that were not sick in the first place. So the Arabians started to ingest the alfalfa themselves. And this is where the name of the plant came from, alfalfa. And you can buy them at Whole Foods, and it's just alfalfa. I wish I had brought the bottle, but it's just alfalfa. Okay, you won't have a difficult time finding it. It's from Whole Foods. You can get it there. And I should have brought the bottle, but anyway, uh, the vitamin D, the carrots, the alfalfa. You cannot drink enough water. Please drink enough water. Um, Moving on again, this started prior to when they started talking about it. That's why the numbers seem to be uh, becoming so elaborate so quickly because it's been happening since at least November or before. And they're saying that a lot of the militia, particularly the Navy, are getting contracted by this. They're even saying that it incepted with the VA. The reason why they're saying that, when at first they were saying it was coming from Asia slash China, is because there's so many different products made in Hong Kong slash China, and when they have uh, Navy or Marines coming by water, they are not the only. There aren't just passengers on those boats. There's also cargo on there as well. And they're bringing those products from Asia here to the States. And as a result, we're becoming infected. Assuming that what they're saying is true, because unfortunately, we can't even believe what they're saying, because there's also been talk, I don't want to call it rumor, but there's also been talk that it's been coming from 5G or LTE, the light, that, and that you should turn it off. To be totally honest with you, I don't know. The gist of it is that it is here, and we need to protect ourselves uh, in the ways in which Baba Greg and I talked about, and I'm discussing with you now. Okay, uh, moving on. Okay, we talked about the Navy, the cargo, China. Um, I personally believe that it wasn't happenstance as in the black girl he married. I think that's the reason why they left Europe and came here um, before that became rapid, or commonly known. They came here, and I believe that that's why. Um, when it comes down to a sister and her child, whatever is whatever, she got out of there with the quickness, and that just happens to be um, my personal belief. I'm at 34 minutes. I want to keep this condensed because I don't want you guys to become overwhelmed. If I'm speaking rapidly, you can always rewind. Um, Again, the food, they keep changing the information, constantly changing the information, saying that the masks aren't helping, the mask don't help you, the mask only helps other people. That makes no sense, because if the masks are only helping other people and everyone wears a mask, well, then that means everyone's being helped. Not to mention that if the masks aren't helping, or they're not of any fundamental use in the first place, then why do they even exist? Why are the medical field trying so hard? The government is trying so hard to make sure that they stay, fundamentally in the medical field. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they don't need them or anything like that, but they're trying to convince us that these masks are to protect the patients and not to protect the medical staff. I mean, I've just already come to the conclusion that they have just, you know, basically think or said that we're stupid. I mean, it's crazy. But I do know this, that the masks are only, they do expire after like a half an hour. It's time to change them. Unfortunately, there aren't enough, from what I understand, to go around in the medical facilities. And some of them have to wear them all day because something is better than nothing. Some people have been, whether knew this, understood this, and accepted this. And she got to work one day, and the charge nurse told her that she would be moving to a COVID-19 floor. And she was a sister, so that was the day she quit. I don't have to tell you all that. Okay, that's kind of obvious. Um, Again, there is very fundamental information that I need divulge to you in order to keep yourselves healthy. Um, Email me at leahjaps@hotmail.com. Once I am able to determine that you are who you say you are, I will give you the abundance of information. Um, I feel so blessed in that that Dr. Gregory chose me to give this information to, and that he told me to wear the mask so that people would believe me when I told them that, again, that I knew about this beforehand. He said, otherwise, they won't believe you. You have to be seen wearing this mask all the time, and they will believe you, you know, as well as my dreams. And I even asked him, I said, Greg, what is it about me that you feel that you can tell me this? Why me? How do you know you can trust me? And he said, well, how do you know you can trust me? He said, do you know how many people are agents? You know? He said, but no one can take the magic glasses off of you. Um, it would be nice if I could see. Take the magic glasses off of you. When once you put them on, you can never take them off again. Who you can trust and you know who you cannot trust. And that's how he knew he could trust me. And that's how I knew that he was forthcoming and that I could trust him as well. And we talked many, many nights, many, many days. And this thing is very serious. Um, it's going to get worse before it gets better. At this particular point, I mean, anytime cable on, if you don't know, the channels that you don't usually get are on. Okay. I believe it was the mayor of Los Angeles who said that a contract had been made with Netflix. They have a contract with Netflix. Um, the code word is coronavirus. If you say turn it on, they'll say, why should we do that? And all you have to do is say coronavirus and they'll turn your stuff on. Yes, this is real. This is real. And I also want to apologize because the last time I did a video on the etymology, I said that the next video I was going to do, which would have been this one, was going to be on etymology, and then the following one was going to be on the microbids and Jay-Z and the hair. So I apologize for that, but this came to fruition, and I believe that it was a lot for real. You know what I mean? And this is a wake-up call because no one is exempt at this particular point in terms of being prey to it. No one is exempt in the sense that the universe is not a respecter of persons. God is not a respecter of persons. So at this particular point, stay safe, be well, be blessed. And I know I said I was going to try not to use that word, but I'm human. I'm working. I'm working on it. I don't want you to be less. I want you to be more. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or anything of that nature, hit me on my email. And there is really, really pertinent information that I need to get to us, to our people. Okay. I got to get this to you. Okay. So you can't get enough water. Remember, oh, God, deodorant. They do have the deodorant that is organic and you can use it or whatever. But with deodorant, some people don't trip, but people who look like us do. If you can get any type of deodorant you want, except these illnesses, there, believe it or not, are more men with breast cancer than women. They just don't talk about it because of whatever reasons men have that clicks that tongue that doesn't want to divulge that. But aerosol spray is out, period. Now, as far as the cream deodorants, the your secret, your band, your whatever, you take it. You don't put it directly on your underarm. You rub it on the demagnetizing area of your lifelines. You rub it on your hands, and it will take away any type of negative bacteria. And then you rub it on your underarms, and you'll be perfectly fine. Doesn't matter what kind of deodorant it is. It doesn't have to be that expensive, organic, whatever it is, the rock that you heat up, whatever it is, deodorant. They actually do have one that's a rock, and you're supposed to run under hot water or whatever. Yada yada. Take regular deodorant. This will kill anything that's not supposed to be there. Just put it on your hands. It's not a big deal. It's not a magic potion. Just put it on there. It doesn't have to be on there any particular amount of time. And you rub it underneath your arms, and you're good. Okay. Any type of baby powder, shower to shower, in your privy parts, even if you're a man, don't do that. It's a shame that they say Johnson and Johnson has done this and known about it for up teen years. It's ridiculous. You don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Put that on your lifeline. That's what those lines are for. They're not there for decor. Trust me. Okay. I don't think I can think of anything else that I can touch on at this particular moment. I shot for under an hour, which is good. I'm almost at 45 minutes. I may need to do a part two if I think of something. If you guys have questions, you can put them in the comment section. For some reason, I haven't been able to always turn the comment section on for whatever reason. But if you do have questions, you can also email me those questions, and I will answer them either there or here. And again, once you get with me via email and I can certify that you are who, or what I should say you are, I'm going to give you the whole spiel. Okay? Again, this is real. Try and stay quarantined as much as you can. Um, Keep your mask, your gloves. I don't know why people are constantly saying wash your hands, because I don't know what type of vagabonds or primates aren't washing their hands anyway. I don't get that. I don't understand that. But do that. Now you uh, be well, continue to be well, and just trust and know that everything will be well. And I love you. And again, no question is a stupid question. The only question that, remember when we learned in school, the only question that's a stupid question is the one that isn't asked. Okay? Love and light.